Salve Discipoli, and welcome to week 10 of our distance learning. And welcome back from our short little break that we had. I hope you guys had a really good Memorial Day, and I hope you guys had some time to relax a little bit, hang out with your family, enjoy some good food, enjoy some good laughter, you know. Okay, so let's get into it. This week, what you need to hand in is the week 10 work packet. Okay, so please print that out and have it ready. And also, I'm going to have you take the week 10 open notes quiz. All right, now please note the week 10 open notes quiz, this is actually located in your packet. Okay, so you don't actually need to go online anywhere. It's already provided for you in here. Okay, and as a reminder, this is in fact, amazingly enough, I can't believe how time flew. This is the last week of May. So next week, your May flashcard calendar will be due. All right, and that's 100 minutes of study time. Remember, if you study 100 minutes, you get 4 100% on your homeworks. Okay, 4 100s on 4 homework assignments. Okay, any less than that, whatever you study, say you studied for like 46 minutes for the whole month of May, all right, you're going to get 4 homework assignments at 46 points each. That's not very good. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're at 100%. Okay, you want to study 100 minutes of vocabulary for the month of May. All right, and you've got the rest of this week to do that and make sure that you have that done. Okay, I'll remind you again at the end of this video, but without further ado, we're going to do some review. So not last week, but the week before that, week 8. Okay, you guys took a chapter 14 chapter 14 quiz rather. All right, so I'm just going to go through and I'm going to do the quiz so you can see what the right answers are and kind of help us prime our brains so that we can proceed and get more information like the awesome, brilliant sponges that you guys are. So here we go. Number 1. Now, also pay attention to like how I'm taking this quiz, okay? So you can kind of see, you know, quiz taking or test taking skills that you can develop. I know you can't see me, my face, but you can see what I'm doing with the pen. All right, so number 1, ager, agri, masculine. Okay, ager, agri is be, field. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross that off, okay, because I've used it and I'm certain. All right, number 2, agricola, agricolae. All right, that is a, farmer. Okay. 3, augeo, augere, auxi, auctum. Okay, and that means e, to increase. So I increased to increase, I increased, increased. Number 4, habeo, habere, habui, habitum. All right, and that is D. I hold, to hold. Actually, that is not correct. It's I have, to have. Okay, number 5. Incola, incolae is settler, J. But let's pretend for a moment that I forgot incola, incolae. Okay, so I'm going to circle this one. I'm going to skip it, but I have to come back to it. All right, I made a note for myself. I'm going to come back. I'm going to fill in the other ones that I know for certain. All right, and then by process of elimination, I can make the best guess. Okay, so number 6, eubeo, eubere is to order, so that's F. Number 7, nauta, nautai, okay, nautical, that's where we get that word from, and nautical people are sailors. So 7 is I. Number 8, poeta, poetae, that one's pretty easy, that's H. Okay, now, let's go back to, well, let's keep going. So number 9, teneo, tenere, tenui, tentum, that's D. I hold, to hold, I held, held. Okay, and finally number 10, video vedere is G, to see. Okay, now I didn't know the answer to number 5, but I answered all the ones that I knew. Check it out. All right, that's the only one left, and that's the answer. Okay, so kind of going through and eliminating the ones that you know for certain, it's a good technique. Okay, they call that process of elimination. Okay, that's a test-taking skill to kind of help you out. All right? So never panic. If you see a word that you're not sure about, don't panic. All right? There's a way to figure stuff out. All right, moving forward. Grammar fill-ins. Okay, so let's do that. Now remember, check it out. I've got the word box at the bottom. Watch how I take this portion of the quiz. I'm also going to make this a little thicker so we can see what we're doing. Let's check that thickness here. Hello. Okay, good. Nice. All right, number 11. A noun family is known as a declension. So we're going to cross that off. Okay. I'm going to write that in the blank. Number 12. There are 5 declensions in Latin. Number 13. First declension nouns are usually blank in gender. The answer is feminine. So we're going to write that in. Okay, notice as that I'm crossing these off as we're going here. Number 14. Second declension nouns are usually blank or blank in gender. Okay, some of them, all right, like ludus, ludi, are masculine, and some of them, like caelum, caeli, or periculum, periculi, are neuter. Okay, so we're going to write those. Or neuter. All right, and we got rid of those options. Number 15. The pain nouns look masculine. I'm sorry, they look feminine. Forgive me. They look feminine, but are actually masculine. All right, and we're going to list the pain nouns. Remember, pain is to help you remember which order they go in. P-A-I-N. Okay, so the first one is poeta. Poetae. Next is agricola, agricolae. Oh, sorry. Okay, next is incola. Whoops, cross that off. And finally, nauta. Okay, so that was the quiz that you should have taken 2 weeks ago, and it's kind of just getting us back into the mindset after having the little tiny break that we did. All right, and you see how I took that quiz as well. I crossed off my answers as I went. Okay, so that's something that you might consider doing when you take more Latin quizzes, or quizzes in general. Okay, so now what I need you to do is get your work packet. All right, we're going to do our regularly scheduled programming here. You're going to do your speed test practice. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video, please, and fill in as many endings as you can remember. And then when you're ready, you can hit play, and we'll go over the endings and the chants that go with them. All right, so pause the video and go ahead. And welcome back. Okay, so by now you should have filled in all that you could for your speed test. Let's go over the answers. All right, and at any time, remember, if you need to pause the video to look more at a screen, you can do so. But without further ado, I am actually going to go through, well, we together, because you should be saying these along with me. Let's use a nice rusty orange today, as per usual. Okay, sorry, just putting my hair up. Thank you. All right, so you guys ready to do the chant? Please do it with me, okay, because it's not going to go away, I promise. A, E, A, E, A, M. A, E, A, R, U, M. I, S, A, S, I, S, 2. Now first declensions through. Now we're on to number 2. USIOUMOIORUMISOS and IS2. UMIOUM OAORUM ISAIS. That's the neuter second declension. Wah, wah. Alright, so those are our noun chants. Now let's do our conjugating Latin verb song. Alright? Conjugating Latin verbs is easy as can be. OST, MUS, TISNT, OST, IU, he, MUS, that means we. TIS is y'all and NT they, hooray! Conjugating Latin verbs is easy as can be. OST, MUS, TISNT. Alright. And finally, we've got our sentence patterns. Alright. Pattern A is SNV, pattern B, SNLVPRN, and pattern C, SNLVPRA. Okay? Now, not to worry, we will a little bit later on go over our sentence pattern chant. But before we do that, because it actually has to do with our lesson this time, but before we do that, we're going to do part C, okay? We're going to learn some new vocabulary today. What I'd like you to do, this is going to be a little different than usual because I included pictures this time. Yay! Please color code and write the new vocabulary words out in your note packet. Now, just so you guys know, the only color that you're going to be using today is the color blue. Alright, so please acquire a color blue so that you can do the blue thing. Right? Yeah, cool. Sorry. I'm a little weird sometimes. Okay, so the first word we're going to learn, again, please repeat after me so that you can work on pronouncing your Latin too, as well as looking at the words and learning the words. All right, please repeat. Animus, animi, masculine. Again, animus, animi, masculine. Okay, and this, as the picture implies, is a word that means mind. Okay, and don't forget to color code, right, as we go. These are all blue, because remember, blue, they're for masculine nouns, all right, and that M right there, this one, it's telling us that it's masculine. It's a masculine noun. All right, so animus animi means mind. Okay, moving along here. Actually, no, I'm not going to get into it. No, I will. It's kind of a cool thing. Okay, so in Latin, this word actually, have you heard of something that's animated? Okay, that's an English word. If something's animated, it has life to it, like a lifelike quality. And interestingly enough, living beings, living things, have minds. Okay? So if you are animated, you have a animus, a mind, a working mind. Thanks be to God. Okay? So that's kind of just a cool way for you to remember animus, mind. I have an animus, you have an animus, and therefore we can think, which is cool. And therefore we are, which is also cool. All right. Moving along here. Please repeat the Latin after me. Campus, campi, masculine. Again, campus, campi, masculine. Good. Okay. Now this one, I know that on the website it says something different. To kind of help you make it a little simpler, we're just going to know campus, campi as a field. Okay? Pretty much it's like a flat plane, but it's pretty much a field. Okay? So remember to color code that as blue, because again, it's telling us this is a masculine noun. It's a boy-y noun. All right? Excuse me. And there's a cool little field that's, imagine it's Magistra. She's skipping through the fields. Yay! Woohoo! And here are you guys hanging out and singing Latin songs, you know, because that's how school works. Yay! Sorry. Alright, anyway. So, and again, remember, if you need more time on any screen, you can always pause the video. Okay? The third word we're going to learn today, please repeat after me. Annus, anni, masculine. Again, annus, anni, masculine. All right, and this word, as you might have guessed from the picture, 'tis a calendar. The word annus anni means year. Okay, have you ever heard of something that's annual? Like an annual, sorry vegetarians, but an annual lamb roast, right? Like a party where once a year everybody comes to roast a lamb, right? Or an annual festival that you might go to. Okay, that's where that word comes from. Annual, year. Okay, annus anni. All right, the next word, please repeat after me. Morus mori, masculine. Again, morus mori, masculine. All right, and again, it's a boy-e noun. All right, that's why we colored it blue, because of that M right there. It tells us the gender. Okay, so morus mori, as you might have guessed it, means wall. Okay, and that's where we get the English word mural from. Okay, if, like a mural is a painting on a wall, right? So if you can imagine even that on this wall there is a beautiful painting of flowers and daisies and I don't know, things that, you know, people like to look at, nice pretty things. People holding hands, I don't know, right? Anyway. So, morus mori, masculine. It's a wall. Okay? Next. Delicious. Please repeat after me. Quibus, quibi, masculine. Again, quibus, quibi, masculine. Okay. Now, please note that even though it begins with a C, we pronounced it like a K sound almost. Remember, C's in Latin are pronounced like K's. Okay, it's not cibus, cibi, it's quibus, quibi, masculine. Okay, and again, it is a blue because it is, in fact, masculine. We know that. All right, and as the picture provides us with some information, quibus is food. One of Magistra's favorite things in the whole wide world, because food's amazing. Look at that. You got some chicken and grapes and olives and cheese and eggs. Maybe looks like dried apricots and some bread. Looks delicious. Very healthy too, I'm sure. Okay, cool. Next. Please repeat after me. Ventus, venti, masculine. Again, ventus, venti, masculine. All right, now this word is cool because it's a prime example of the fact that in Latin, when you see a V, you're going to pronounce it like a W, right? Remember, V's make W sounds. Okay, so it's not ventus, venti, it's ventus, venti. All right? This means wind. Okay, now think of like I don't know if you guys have heard of the word vent before, like a vent. Usually a vent is something that allows air to escape. And what makes that air? It's a wind, essentially, right? It's moving air, all right? So a vent, like let's say you know, you got the air conditioning unit in the corner of Mrs. Prestamo's classroom, right? And there are vents on it. Okay, there are the controls over here. Beep, beep, boop, bop, beep, boop. Okay, and it's got some vents here, all right? All the cold air, the wind, the cold wind essentially, is coming out of the vents, all right? That's how you can remember a wentos wenti, wind. All right, moving right along here. Ah, how beautiful. Quam pulchram. Please repeat after me. Equus, equi, masculine. Again, equus, equi, masculine. Good. Okay, now, this word is horse. That was a very weird looking H, Magister. What are you doing? Okay. Now, I don't know if you've heard of the word equestrian, right? But equestrian has to do with horses, right? So if you're an equestrian enthusiast, you are somebody who's super into horses. You think they're really cool. Or somebody who rides horses. I don't know if that's what you call them professionally, like people who professionally ride horses. I don't really know the word for that, but I think it's this. I think it's that word. But it is related. Okay? And actually in Rome, think about a chessboard, right? And on a chessboard, I don't know if any of you play chess, but sometimes, this is going to be real, I'm not an artist, I'm sorry guys. There's a ear here, I think, and some, whatever. That is a gnarly looking horse. Okay, but, alright, there's a chess piece. The knight, okay, the chess piece is a horse. Interestingly, let's give it a nostril. That looks a little better. Kind of looks like a sock. Ew. Anyway, the chess piece, the knight, is typically a horse. Okay, and in ancient Rome, they had a class of people. You might have learned about these people with Mrs. Prestamo, but I'm not entirely sure. The equites. Okay, they're people who were rich enough to take care of horses, because remember, when you raise a horse, it costs a lot of money. You got to pay to have somebody muck out the stables. You have to be able to feed the horse and water the horse. You have to be able to take it on a huge property so that it can get exercise and stay healthy. All right, it costs a lot of money to raise a horse. So the equites, people who could afford a horse, it's another way of saying knights. Okay, they were like knights of Rome. Okay, and that's one way that you can remember it. Okay, equus, equi, right? It's like this horse thingy over here, right? And the equites, that was a class, right, in Rome, like a standing, a social status you could get if you had enough money for it. Okay, so yeah, equus, equi, horse. Next, oh look, so cute, but they are also scary because they could run us down in a second. Please repeat after me. Ferus, feri, masculine. Again, ferus, feri, masculine. Okay, now this is a wild animal. Okay, ferus, feri is the word for a wild animal. Okay. If you need something to help you remember that, the word fierce. Okay, fierce, it sort of looks like that a little bit. Okay, and wild animals tend to be fierce, right? Like this guy right here, like, yeah, he looks all cute and kitty cat-like, but he is definitely dangerous. He's got sharp dentes, sharp teeth, and sharp pedes, sharp feet, sharp claws. Acuto pedes, sharp feet. All right. So anyway, yeah, ferus, feri, wild animal. And I believe this is the last one. Okay, please repeat after me. Fluius, fluvii, masculine. Again, fluius, fluii, masculine. Good. Okay, and that is the Latin word for river. Okay, now there's a couple things I want to mention here. To help you remember the word for river, just think a river flows, right? Like Pocahontas says, just around the river bend, the ocean flows, whatever, right? Flows kind of, sort of, if you use your Latin imaginations, it looks similar to fluius, a little bit, right? Because the V's and the W sound kind of similar. So that's how you can remember. A river flows and fluius flows. All right. Now this picture that I attached here is actually a picture of the Tiber River. Okay, the Tiber River is very famous. Okay, that is the river that kind of allowed Rome to be a superpower. It allowed them to trade, it allowed them to travel, it gave them access to all of the Mediterranean. And if you notice, I don't know if anybody's interested in history and geography, but most major cities that are very influential are located near rivers. Okay, Florence is an example. Florence in Italy, right? I think Paris is near a river. London is definitely near a river. Okay, a lot of really powerful cities that have a lot of influence, they're located near a body of water, right? And that allows humans to kind of get contact with each other and trade goods and stuff like that, right? But if you guys ever get the chance to go to Rome, you will definitely see the Tiber River. And sometimes there's even these little sidewalks here when it's not flooded and stuff. People, host festivals and there's markets and stuff you can go see. It's pretty cool. And Rome is really beautiful at night as well. So that was it for the new vocabulary. Remember, fluius flows, river flows. So make sure you've color-coded. Make sure you have all your definitions written down, like good little Discipoli that I know you are. And without further ado, we are going to move on to our sentence pattern chant review. Okay, this is going to help us with the rest of the lesson for this week. All right, now in your work packet, there are a couple blanks. I need you to fill them out. All right, but what we are going to do is we're going to go through, the sentence pattern chant. All right, you know how this goes. So please say it along with me. Thank you. Here we go. Pattern A has a simple form. It's made with a verb and a subject noun. SNV, SNV. Pattern A has a simple form. Pattern B is a pattern of being. Two nouns surround a small LV. SNLV, PRN, SNLV, PRN. Pattern B is a pattern of being. Pattern C is similar to B. A noun needs an adjective, don't you see? SNLV, PRA. SNLV, PRA. Pattern C is similar to B. Okay, so that was our sentence chant. Please make sure that you fill in the blanks on your note packet. Capiche? Awesome. All right, and again, if you need more time on the screen, please hit pause and continue when you are ready. But Magistro is going to go ahead and we are going to do part E, the new chapter 15 grammar. The directions say, fill in the missing blanks in your note packet. Okay, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to read this on screen for you. And while I'm doing that, I want you to fill in the missing words. And if you need to pause the screen for a minute to figure out, what the missing words are, totally do that. All right, that's okay. Take your time with this. I don't want you to miss anything. All right, so here we go. The first section, all right, you find this in your note packet. All right, more on patterns A, B, and C sentences. Okay, you know the drill. Remember to fill in the blanks, please. We've talked about 3 sentence patterns. But this week it's time to practice a little bit more with patterns A, B, and C. Notice the chant that we just reviewed. That will help you better remember these patterns and the abbreviations that we use to label the parts of a sentence. Notice the difference between pattern A and pattern B, and pattern C really, has to do with the different kinds of verbs they use. Do you remember what the two types of verbs are? Haven't you heard? There are two kinds of verbs: the action verb and the linking verb. Action verbs tell us what the subject is doing, and linking verbs tell what the subject is. These different kinds of verbs, first of all, lead to the different kinds of sentence patterns. All right, so there were a few blanks in your note packet. Please ensure that you have those in that section filled out, because hint, hint, it's going to help you on your Open Notes quiz later on. All right, if you need more time on the screen, you may pause, but if not, I'm going to go on ahead here. Okay, now, the next three sections, we're going to do them, obviously, section at a time. So first we're going to talk about pattern A. All right? The first pattern, pattern A, is made by just a subject and an action verb. When we label the parts of that kind of sentence, we label the subject SN for subject noun and the verb with a V. Okay, so make sure you have the blanks for that filled out. All right, and we will see these in a couple minutes. All right, pattern B. The second kind of sentence, pattern B, also needs to have its subject labeled with an SN, but we should label the verb with LV to remind us that it's a linking verb. We should also label the predicate nominative with PRN. Okay, it's a predicate nominative, all right? It's also known as a predicate noun, okay? Because pattern C technically also has a predicate nominative, but it's a different kind, okay? And I'll talk about that in a minute. All right, pattern C. The third kind of sentence, pattern C, as the chant says, is similar to pattern B. You have its subject labeled with an SN, as before, and your verb labeled with an LV to remind us that it's a linking verb. The difference is, however, that instead of labeling the third item as a predicate noun or predicate nominative, you label the third item as a predicate adjective with a PRA. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little quick explanation here. So just so you know, okay, you've got a predicate, and by the way, I'm saying otherwise, right? Remember, write as she writes unless she says otherwise. This is me saying otherwise. You don't have to write this. Okay, so we have something called predicate nominatives. All right, now there are two types of predicate nominatives. The first type is a PRN. Okay, that stands for a predicate noun. All right, the second type is PRA. Okay, that stands for predicate adjective. Okay, now they're technically very, very similar. Okay, they're both technically predicate nominatives. Okay, but they're a little bit different. All right, if you see a word that's a noun, it's going to be a predicate noun. All right, if you see a word that's an adjective, though, a describing word, it's going to be a PRA. Okay, and that's the difference between pattern B, SNLVPRN, and pattern C, SNLVPRA. Okay, so pattern B is on the left over here. Pattern C is on the right over here. All right, now it's okay if you don't quite understand what that means just yet. We're going to go through and we're going to look at some examples. So if you need any more time on the screen, again, you can always pause. Sorry, let me make that. There we go. You can pause the video and fill it. Make sure you have all your blanks filled in your note packet. okay, because it's going to help you on the quiz later. Now, part F, we're going to do some practice, okay? The directions say, go through the following sentences with magistra. Hey, that's me. And label them as either pattern A, B, or C. Then we're going to translate. And lucky for you, I have provided the vocabulary that we're going to need to help us determine the difference. All right, sentence number 1. First things first, whenever we look at a Latin sentence, we read the whole thing through. Okay, you read to the very period of the sentence. So please repeat after me. Magistra laborat. All right, now we have to figure out what we're working with here. Okay, the word magistra, and actually to kind of help us before we even get started, I'm sorry, down here, all right, over here, I've included the vocabulary that we're going to need for these sentences. So what I'm going to do is highlight the words that we need in, let's do purple. Purple is a cool color. All right, so whichever words we need, we're going to highlight them down below. All right, so we can see what we're working with. The first word we're working with is laborat. All right, remember, always find your verb first. Okay, laborat. Now that, okay, is from this word, laboro, laborare, laboravi, laboratum. Okay, that's a verb. All right, and that verb, in fact, means to work. Okay, is work an action verb or a linking verb? Think about it. If you said action verb, you are correct. Okay, and remember, we label our action verbs as just V. Okay, so not LV, that's different. That's a linking verb. V is just action verb. Okay, next. We're working with the word magistra. All right, now let's look. That looks like a noun to me. Okay, so we're going to look in our noun section. And, oh, look, it is here. Magistra, magistrae, teacher. Okay, so that is our SN. All right, now based on what we know about our sentence patterns, which sentence pattern is SNV? Well, if you said sentence pattern A, you were correct. Now let's translate. The magistra laborats. Okay, let's write out our translation. The teacher, what does she do? She works. The teacher works. Okay, and that's it. That's our sentence. Okay? Again, if you need more time here, you can always pause the video, but I'm going to move on to sentence number 2. Please repeat after me. Ludus est aura. Okay. Now let's figure out what we're working with here. First things first, we're going to find our verb. And in fact, our verb is here, est. Okay? Now, est comes from sum esse fui futurum, to be. Okay? What kind of verb is that? Is it an action verb or a linking verb? If you said linking verb, you are correct. Because est simply means he, she, or it is. Okay, now we've got a linking verb in here. So that means we can either be pattern we can either be pattern B or pattern C. And actually, you know what? Let's do this real quick. Sorry, I'm just going to write this over here. Hang tight for 1 second. My little skips. Okay, pattern A is SNV. Pattern B is SNLVPRN, right? And pattern C is SNLVPRA. Okay, so that is our little guide in the corner right here. All right, and I'll put that, sorry, that's not very legible. I always say you guys should write neat. I should also write neat. Neatly. Okay. So ludus est aura. Sorry for that side note, guys. Let's go back to the sentence. Now, ludus is a noun. Okay? And let's look in our vocabulary list for something that looks like ludus. Ah, we found it. Okay, it's ludus, ludi, masculine, the word for school, game, or play. All right, now aura, let's look in our vocabulary list. Do we see something that looks like aura? Ah, yes, we do. It's a noun also. Okay, and it means breeze. So if we've got two nouns here, one of them is our subject noun. Now this one, okay, we've got SNLV, so it can't be pattern A. All right, that's not possible. It's got to be either pattern B or pattern C, because pattern B and pattern C both have linking verbs in them. Okay? So which one is it? How do we know? Well, remember what I told you before. There are two types of predicates that you can have. You can have a predicate noun or a predicate adjective. Okay? And since aura is a noun, it has to be PRN. Okay? So it's not pattern A and it's not pattern C. It's pattern B. All right? Now, let's translate. The ludus, the game, est, is aura, a breeze. Nice. Okay, so that's how that works. Now let me cut this, whoopsie daisy, cut this out so that we can have it. Copy. All right, so that's sentence number 2. Make sure you have that written out. Ta-da! Wow. Makistra, you're so cool. You can do cool things. Just kidding. All right, please repeat after me. Ancilla spectat. Again, ancilla spectat. All right, so first things first, we got to find our verb. And our verb is right here. Okay? It comes from specto, spectate, spectavi, spectatum, meaning to watch. Now here's a question for you. Is it an action verb or a linking verb? If you said action verb, you are correct. And remember, we mark up our action verbs with just a V, okay? Because it's not a linking verb, it's just a plain old verb. Okay? Now, which sentence pattern, before we get to that. Okay, ancilla. Let's see if we can find something in our vocabulary lists. Ah, I found a noun. It's ancilla, ancillae, maidservant. Okay? So that is our SN. All right, now, what kind of sentence pattern has SNV? Well, let's look over here. Which one's SNV? It's pattern A. That's it. We figured it out. Okay, so let's write that down. Okay, and now let's do our translation. The ancilla, the maidservant, what did she do? She spectats. She watches. Okay? So that's it for sentence number 3. All right. You guys are doing pretty awesome. Keep it up. We're almost there. Okay. Sentence number 4. Whoops. Please repeat after me. Aedificium est antiquum. Okay. Now, first things first, what's our verb here? Okay. Well, I recognize est as a verb. And what kind of verb is that? Est is a linking verb. Okay, because again it comes from sum esse fui futurum, to be. Okay. Now, What other words do we have in here? We've got edificium. All right, so edificium is a noun. It means building. And antiquum. Let's take a look. Well, it's not a noun per se. Okay, do you see it? Antiquum in our nouns? No. But I do see an adjective like that. Okay, it's antiquus, antiqua, antiquum, meaning old. Okay, so let's do our markup now. Let's label our sentence. Edificium naturally is your subject noun. Okay, but what about antiquum? Well, antiquum is it comes from an adjective. So is it a PRN or a PRA? It's a PRA. It's a predicate adjective. Now, which sentence pattern is SNLVPRA? It's pattern C. All right? So we figured out which sentence pattern we're working with. Now let's translate. The edificium, the building, est is antiquum, old. Okay? That's it. That's our sentence. Okay? Moving on. Alright, so there's our thingy. Please repeat the Latin after me. Discipula est serena. One more time. Discipula est serena. Okay, now first things first, find your verb. Okay, here it is. It's est. All right, and we know that est is a linking verb, okay, because it comes from sum esse fui futurum, to be. Okay, that's a linking verb there. Now, that means we're not working with pattern A for sure, okay, because that doesn't have a linking verb in it. So is it pattern B or pattern C? Well, let's find out. Let's see what words we're using here. We've got discipula. All right, so let's take a look in our list. Do we see discipula? Yes, we do. It's right here. Okay, that means student. All right, and what's the other word? Serena. So let's see, is it a noun? Let's see, like A, B, C, D. No, there is no noun serena. But there's an adjective. An adjective serenus, serena, serenum, meaning calm, bright, or clear. Okay, so let's do our labeling now. Discipula is your subject noun because it comes first. Now, serena, is it a predicate noun or is it a predicate adjective? Which one is it? It's a predicate adjective because it came from the adjectives box. Okay? Now, which pattern is SNLVPRA? It's not pattern B, it's pattern C. So again, we're working with a pattern C sentence. All right, let's do our translation now. The discipula, the female student, or we could just say the student. Sorry, the student est is. Let's make her calm. The student is calm. She's serena. She's serene. She's calm. All right. Now, that was sentence number 5. Let us move on. 1 second. To sentence number 6. Okay. Please repeat after me. Donum est fabula. Again, donum est fabula. Okay, good. Now let's find our verb first. Oh, here it is. It's est. We've got ourselves a linking verb. Okay, and remember linking verbs, right? They come from sum esse fui futurum, to be. Okay, now let's see what other words we're working with. Oh, and I forgot. Silly me. I forgot to put that there. Okay. So let's see what other words we're working with. Donum. All right. Well, is donum a noun? Let's see. Yes, it is. Donum doni. It's a gift. Okay, and fabula. Let's take a look. Fabula, fabulae. There it is. It's also a noun. Okay, so we're working with two nouns here. So let's do our markup. Donum comes first, so that's your subject noun. Now, is fabula a predicate noun or a predicate adjective? Well, we're not using any adjectives here. It's fabula coming from our nouns list. So this is a PRN. Which sentence pattern is SNLVPRN? It's not pattern A, and it's not pattern C. 'Tis pattern B, the pattern of being. Okay, so let's do our translating. Wait, that's right, that's pattern B. Okay, now let's translate. The donum, the gift, est is fabula, a story. All right, so that was sentence number 6. Let's do sentence number 7. Make sure we put that right in here. Okay, please repeat the Latin after me. Magister est lupus. One more time. Magister est lupus. All right, now, first things first, we always find our verb. All right, and here it is. We recognize est is a linking verb, not an action verb, right? Comes from sum esse fui futorum, to be. Okay, now, what else are we working with? We've got magister. All right, let's find our verb here. Let's find our word. Is it a noun? Oh, yep, here it is. Magister, magistri, teacher. Okay, and the other word is lupus. So let's see if we can find that. Is it a noun? It is. It's right here. Lupus lupi, wolf. Okay, so we're not using any adjectives here. So let's do our labeling. Magister is your subject noun, comes first. All right, now lupus, is it a PRN, predicate noun, or PRA, predicate adjective? Well, we're not using any adjectives here, folks, so that is a PRN. Now, which sentence pattern is SNLVPRN? It's not pattern A, and it's not pattern C. Once again, it's pattern B. The pattern of being, two nouns surround a small LV. So that's pattern B. All right, now let's use that information and translate. The magister, the teacher, est is a lupus, a wolf. Huh, that would be pretty funny to see a wolf in teacher clothes. I would laugh. I'm sure you would too. Okay. So that's sentence number 7. All right, I think you guys are getting the hang of this. All right, this is pretty cool. You guys are doing some real Latin, and I'm really proud of you. That's awesome. All right, number 8. Please repeat after me. Discipuli ambulant. One more time. Discipuli ambulant. All right, first things first. Find the verb. Here it is. Okay, and that comes from, let's highlight it, ambulo, ambulare, ambulavi, ambulatum, which means to walk. Okay, so it's what kind of verb is it? Is it a linking verb or an action verb? If you said action verb, you are correct. So that's just a V, right? Because there's no linking involved. Now let's see what we're working with here. What's the word discipuli coming from? All right, well, what looks the most similar? Discipulus discipuli, student. Now let's label. This is an SN, it's our subject now because it's coming first. Okay, so which sentence pattern has SNV? Not these. It's this one, it's the simple form. It's made with a verb and a subject noun. Okay, so that's sentence pattern A. Alright, so let's do our translation then. The discipuli, the students, okay, remember I made it plural, okay, because that's discipuli is more than one. Right? I always say salvete discipuli, but if I saw one of you in the hallway, I'd say salve discipulus or salve discipula. Okay. So the students, what do? They walk. Okay. So that is sentence number 8. Let's move on to sentence number 9. Please repeat after me. Equus est feros. One more time. Equus est feros. Okay. So let's do our find the verb game first. All right, first, est is our verb. It's a linking verb. Okay, and remember, est comes from sum esse fui futurum, to be. Okay. Now, sorry, I forgot to put that thingy. There it is. All right, so let's see what words we're working with now. We've got equus. Let's find it. Is it a noun? Yes, it is. It's from this week, actually. Okay, where we learned about the equites, the knights. So equus is a horse. And the other word we're working with is feros. Okay, and it's not an adjective. It's a noun. Feros feri, a wild animal. So, what do we got here? Well, equus is our subject noun, because it comes first. All right, but what about feros? Is it a predicate noun or a predicate adjective? Well, we're not using any adjectives right now. We're using a noun. So feros is a PRN, predicate noun. Now, which pattern has the predicate nouns? Not pattern A and not pattern C. 'Tis pattern B. Right? So, that's pattern B. Now let's do our translation. Okay, the equus, the horse, est, is, feros, a wild animal. And yes, contrary to what you might think, there are wild horses in the world. All right, so that's that. Sentence number 9. Last one. Please repeat after me. Fluvius est ignotus. One more time. Fluvius est ignotus. Good. All right, so remember, first things first, you always, always, always find the verb in the Latin sentence first. That's the best thing you can do to help yourself. And here, it's est. Okay, and est, we know, is a linking verb, not an action verb. Comes from sum esse fui futurum, to be. Okay, so now we know we've got a linking verb, and let's put that little guide over here. All right, so if we know we've got a linking verb, then it can't be pattern A, so that's out. Let's see what words we're using now. We've got fluvius, and remember, the fluvius flows. What flows? The river flows. Okay, fluvius, fluvii, masculine, is a river. All right, and what's the second word we're using? Ignotus. All right, is ignotus a noun? I don't see any words here that look like ignotus, but I do see an adjective that looks like ignotus. It's ignotus, ignota, ignotum, meaning unknown. So, let's do our labeling. Fluius is our subject noun because it comes first, and it's our subject of the sentence. But what am I going to do with ignotus? Is it a predicate noun, or is it a predicate adjective? Well, this time, ignotus is an adjective, so it's a PRA. And which sentence pattern is PRA? Not pattern B, it's pattern C. Okay, because a noun needs an adjective, don't you see? All right, so now let's do our translation. The fluvius, the river, est is ignotus, unknown. Ah, how mysterious, an undiscovered river. Well, my little adventurers, we should find it. All right, so that was it for this week's lesson. Now just what I'd like you to do, included in your packet is the Week 10 Open Notes quiz. So you can take that, and you may, as the directions state, you may use your notes, okay? I would highly recommend you use your notes, okay? So take the quiz. It's got both vocabulary and grammar fill-ins. But please submit that to me and this work packet on Google Classroom, or email me if you have any trouble with that. All right, and as a reminder, make sure that you have 100 minutes of study time for your flashcards, your vocabulary, for the month of May. 100 minutes. All right, these are going to be due next week. Alrighty, so that's it for this week. I miss you guys very much, and I really hope you guys are doing well. I'm praying for you, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Valete, Discipoli.